Chapter 6. Convergence. Morning arrived. Like every morning before it. No alarms sounded. No governments declared emergencies. No scientist believed history had changed overnight. Yet somewhere, it had. Across Blue Star, millions of invisible signals crossed the atmosphere every second. Radio transmissions, satellite communications, navigation systems, television broadcasts, military frequencies, emergency beacons, voices, music, noise. Humanity had wrapped its planet in an ocean of information. Most of it vanished into space. Forgotten, unanswered. Not all of it. Deep beneath Horizon Spire, the array turned another fraction of a degree. No command had been issued. No power levels changed. Yet every sensor in the chamber recorded the same anomaly. Resonance drift. 0.0000001%. Impossible. Because the drift was not coming from the array. It was coming toward it. Professor Saris read the report twice. Then a third time. Finally, she looked up, traced the source. The engineers exchanged uncertain glances. One technician cleared his throat. "We can't." "Why not?" "Because there isn't one." He enlarged the projection. Instead of a single origin, thousands of microscopic resonance vectors appeared. Scattered. Random. Each one insignificant. Together, they formed a pattern. A slow spiral. Collapsing inward. Toward the center of the array. Toward something that did not yet exist. Professor Veros stared at the projection. His expression slowly changed. "I've seen this before." Saris looked at him. "You remember?" "No." He closed his eyes. "I almost remember." That frightened him more. On Blue Star, Dr. Amelia Grant returned to the anomaly she had archived the previous day. She wasn't looking for confirmation. She was looking for a reason to delete it. Instrument failure. Software corruption. Calibration drift. Any explanation would do. She overlaid fresh atmospheric data. The anomaly had returned. Not stronger. Not weaker. Simply present. Almost as though the atmosphere itself had developed a heartbeat. She checked neighboring monitoring stations. Nothing. Only her station had detected it. She leaned back. That makes no sense. Her computer chimed. A new satellite packet had arrived. Routine synchronization. She opened it without thinking. Halfway through the diagnostics, her eyes narrowed. One line had been flagged for manual review. Attitude correction. 0.00003 degrees. The same report Javier Morales had submitted hours earlier. Two unrelated systems. Two unrelated anomalies. Both involving tiny changes in direction. She opened a new document. Research notes. Possible correlation. Then stopped typing. No, there wasn't enough evidence. Not yet. She closed the file without saving it. Some discoveries survive. Only because someone hesitates. The old fisherman returned to the sea before sunrise. The tide behaved exactly as predicted. The wind followed the forecast. The sky was clear. Everything was normal. Except the birds. They refused to cross a stretch of open water nearly 3 kilometers wide. They circled it. Again and again, never entering. The old man watched quietly. Animals noticed patterns. Long before people invented names for them. That afternoon, Ethan recalibrated his prototype. Every sensor passed. No faults. No damaged circuitry. No interference. His outlier should have disappeared. Instead, a second point appeared, slightly higher than the first. He frowned. That's strange. He checked the room for nearby electronics. Nothing unusual. He reset the device. The reading remained. For reasons he couldn't explain. He smiled. Not because he understood it. Because he had just found a mystery. Far beyond both civilizations. Beyond stars that no telescope had ever seen. Beyond the ruins of empires erased from existence. Something ancient changed course. Not suddenly. Not violently. Almost gently. Perfectly spaced. Perfectly symmetrical. Chief Engineer Darren looked over her shoulder. "What did you do?" "I removed half the noise." He stared at the projection. "Those aren't arcs." "No." Saris answered quietly. "They're intervals." Professor Veros entered without announcing himself. He studied the projection for only a few seconds. Then something inside him changed. His expression collapsed. I've seen this. Nobody spoke. General Kaler looked toward him. The projection shifted. 5 arcs remained. Immediately, the spiral collapsed. The entire resonance model dissolved into meaningless noise. Darren restored the missing interval. Order returned. Interesting. Saris nodded slowly. The pattern requires every interval. Vero spoke quietly. Or almost every interval. Everyone looked toward him. What do you mean? The old historian kept staring at the projection. There are 6. He paused. But my memory, his eyes narrowed, keeps insisting there should be 7. Silence. No one dismissed him. Not anymore. Too many impossible things had already become real. Saris slowly expanded the model. Search for a 7th interval. The planetary intelligence complied. Millions of calculations flooded the chamber. Vectors shifted. Equations rewrote themselves. The projection stabilized. Result: negative. No 7th interval detected. Veros didn't move. It isn't missing. He whispered. It hasn't arrived yet. On Blue Star, Dr. Amelia Grant had stopped pretending this was ordinary science. She sat surrounded by printed graphs. She trusted paper more than screens. Screens could update. Paper remembered every anomaly, every timestamp, every magnetic fluctuation, every unexplained satellite adjustment. She pinned them across the wall, then stepped backward. The answer appeared instantly, not because of the data, because of the empty space. 6 clusters, 1 gap, exactly where another event should have been. She checked every database again. Nothing. The 7th interval had never occurred. Ethan reached the same conclusion, entirely by accident. He had written a simple script to predict the next anomaly, mostly as an exercise. The algorithm finished running. Prediction complete. Expected event. Unavailable. He frowned. Unavailable? Software wasn't supposed to use words like that. He opened the source code. The word didn't exist. His program should have displayed no data. Instead, it had written something new. Unavailable. He stared at the screen, then laughed quietly. Okay, now you're definitely broken. Across the city, the old fisherman watched the sea again. The birds still refused to cross the invisible boundary. Today, even the waves behaved strangely. They broke against nothing. Foam rose, curled, then vanished, as though an unseen wall briefly existed beneath the surface. His grandson pointed. Did you see that? The old man nodded. I did. What was it? He answered without hesitation. A door. The boy laughed. On the ocean? The fisherman smiled. Not anymore. Far above the planet. Javier Morales replayed 3 days of satellite telemetry. He wasn't watching orientation. He was watching empty space. Frame after frame. Nothing. Until frame 184,223. He froze. 1 pixel. Only 1. It hadn't appeared. It hadn't moved. It simply failed to belong. He enhanced the image. The pixel remained. Black. Perfectly black. Not shadow. Not missing data. Absence. He requested the same frame from another satellite. Nothing. Only 1 satellite had seen it. Only 1. Inside Horizon Spire. The array stopped. Not gradually. Instantly. Every inscription froze. Every display went dark. The laboratory lights dimmed. No alarm sounded. The silence itself became the warning. Professor Saris felt every hair on her arms stand upright. No one moved. The planetary intelligence spoke. Its voice sounded different. Slower. Almost. Careful. Attention. The single word echoed through the chamber. No one answered. The resonance array. A pause. Is waiting. General Kaler frowned. Waiting for what? The intelligence did not respond. Instead, every display illuminated simultaneously. 1 sentence appeared. Not written. Remembered. The 7th witness has not yet arrived. Nobody in the laboratory understood the message. Nobody, except Professor Veros. His breathing became uneven. His hands trembled. Another fragment surfaced. A chamber beneath the earth. 7 circles carved into stone. Only 6 occupied. A voice, ancient beyond imagination. Speaking a language no living civilization should have remembered. The last witness must choose. The vision shattered. Veros fell to one knee. Blood struck the polished floor. One drop, then another. He looked toward Saris. His face had gone pale. For the first time, the old historian spoke with absolute certainty. We've done this before. Millions of kilometers away. Blue Star completed another silent rotation around its sun, completely unaware that somewhere beyond human understanding, history was beginning to remember itself. Chapter 10. The Impossible Memory. Some memories are not remembered. They are recovered. Professor Veros remained on one knee. The blood on the chamber floor spread slowly beneath him. No one moved. Not because they were afraid, because every person present sensed that something far more important than a medical emergency had just happened. General Kaler was the first to react. Medical. 2 preservation guards rushed forward. Veros raised a trembling hand. No. One word, barely above a whisper. He struggled to breathe. Not injured. The physician ignored him anyway. She scanned his vitals. Heart rate elevated. Blood pressure unstable. Neurological activity. The scanner stopped. She frowned, then scanned again. The result remained. I've never seen readings like these. Saris knelt beside him. What did you remember? Veros stared past her. Not at the laboratory. Not at the people around him. At something only he could see. There was another world. The chamber became perfectly still. General Kaler spoke carefully. You mean Blue Star? Veros slowly shook his head. No. Silence. Before Blue Star, no one breathed. The words settled over the laboratory, like dust over forgotten ruins. Professor Saris searched his face. What are you saying? He answered without looking at her. We weren't the first. Deep beneath Horizon Spire, the ancient structure answered. A pulse, almost too faint to measure. The array responded immediately. One slow revolution, then another. No one had touched it. No one had issued a command. Yet the inscriptions had begun changing again. Not flowing, arranging, as though assembling. A sentence. The planetary intelligence spoke. New archival correlation detected. Saris looked up. Source. Unknown. Content. Partial. The chamber lights dimmed. Ancient symbols spread across every display. Unlike before, they did not move. They waited. The intelligence hesitated, then began translating. Cycle. The next symbol appeared. 6. Another. Complete. The final symbol remained untranslated. For several seconds, nothing happened. Then, the intelligence spoke a sentence that no one expected. Preparing 7th. General Kaler looked toward Saris. What does that mean? She answered honestly. I don't know. But she did know one thing. The machine wasn't describing the future. It was reporting progress. On Blue Star. Ethan couldn't sleep. The graphs refused to leave his mind. He had compared his measurements against everything he could find. University databases, open research archives, weather stations, satellite records. The pattern survived every comparison. Exactly 6 minutes. Always. His laptop chimed softly. A new notification appeared. Unknown file access attempt blocked. He frowned. He hadn't connected to the internet in hours. Someone, or something, had tried to reach his computer. He checked the logs. No IP address. No network activity. No wireless connection. Nothing. The attempt had come. From nowhere. Across the city. Dr. Amelia Grant sat alone inside her office. The walls were covered with printed graphs. Colored strings connected timestamps. Satellite movements. Magnetic anomalies. Atmospheric disturbances. She stepped backward, studying the wall. Something bothered her. Not the information. The spacing. She measured the distance between each cluster. 6. 6. 6. 6. Then, an empty space. Exactly the same size. Waiting. Almost unconsciously. She wrote a number inside the gap. 7. The lights flickered. Every monitor in the office shut down simultaneously. For exactly 1 second. When they restarted, one graph had changed. Only one. A point now existed, where moments earlier there had been none. Amelia stared at it. She knew, with absolute certainty, she had not drawn it. Thousands of kilometers away. The old fisherman woke before dawn. Not because of noise, because of silence. The sea had stopped. No waves, No wind. No birds. The entire coastline stood perfectly still. He walked slowly toward the shore. His grandson followed behind. Neither of them spoke. The water stretched before them, as smooth as polished glass. Then, without warning, a single ripple formed. There was no stone, no fish, no wind, just one perfect circle, expanding across the ocean. The fisherman watched until it disappeared, then quietly said, "It has arrived." His grandson frowned. "What has?" The old man didn't answer, because he no longer knew. He only knew that he had been waiting to say those words for longer than he had been alive, far beyond both worlds, beyond stars, beyond time, beyond history itself. An ancient mechanism completed another calculation. Cycle 6. Confirmed. A pause followed, one that had lasted millions of years. Then, for the first time since civilizations first learned to look at the stars, a new entry appeared. Cycle 7. Initializing. Chapter 11. The echo beneath stone. Every civilization builds monuments. Some to remember, others to forget. The silence along the coast lasted exactly 6 minutes. Then, the wind returned. The waves resumed their endless rhythm. The birds crossed the water once more. Everything became ordinary. The old fisherman remained where he stood. His grandson tugged gently at his sleeve. "Can we go home?" The old man nodded. "Yes." He looked back at the sea one last time. "But don't tell your mother that the ocean stopped." The boy laughed. "No one would believe me." The old fisherman smiled. "I know." Inside Horizon Spire, the array remained motionless, not inactive, waiting. Professor Saris stood alone before it. Everyone else had returned to their workstations. No one wanted to admit it, but the laboratory had changed. People spoke more quietly, walked more carefully, as though afraid the machine might hear them. She reached toward the polished surface, stopping only centimeters away. "I know you aren't alive." Her voice barely disturbed the silence. "So why do I keep feeling like you're listening?" The array did not move. It did not glow. It did not answer. Yet somehow, the room felt less empty than before. Chief Engineer Darren interrupted her thoughts. "We've finished the structural scan." Saris turned, and he hesitated. "The laboratory is larger." She frowned. "No, it isn't." Darren activated the projection. Three-dimensional scans appeared. Yesterday, today, the difference was almost invisible, until the two images overlapped. The chamber containing the array had expanded by exactly 32 centimeters. No construction crews had entered. No walls had moved. The surrounding rock had simply shifted, making room. General Kaler stared at the model. Earthquakes. No seismic activity. Construction error? The chamber has been scanned every week for 11 years. He looked back at Saris. It grew. Nobody laughed. Far below, beyond every mapped foundation, beyond every tunnel known to chaos, something answered the movement. Stone, older than memory, cracked, not violently, softly, like ice melting beneath the first warmth of spring. Dust drifted into darkness. A narrow passage, sealed for millions of years, opened. No alarms detected it. No sensors reached that depth. Only one thing noticed. The array. Its inscriptions accelerated for less than a second, then slowed again. On Blue Star, Ethan arrived late for class. Not because he had overslept, because he had spent the entire night studying graphs. His professor looked at him. Long night. Ethan smiled. "I found something strange." The professor laughed. That's what scientists say, right before discovering either nothing or everything. The class chuckled. Ethan did too. He had no idea how accurate those words would become. After the lecture, he stopped by the university library, not for engineering books, history, ancient civilizations, lost cultures. He wasn't sure why, only that his instincts had begun pulling him away from equations, toward stories. He found an old volume discussing prehistoric monuments. Most of it was familiar. Stone circles, burial sites, astronomical alignments. Then, one illustration caught his attention. A weathered carving, almost completely eroded. Only a few lines remained visible. 3 circles, nested perfectly inside one another. Ethan froze. He had seen that symbol before. On his prototype, he checked the publication date. 1983. 43 years ago, his prototype had displayed a symbol carved into stone decades before he was born. Slowly, he closed the book. His heartbeat had become noticeably faster. Across the city, Dr. Amelia Grant received another anonymous email. Again, no sender, no message, only one attachment. This time, the same 3 concentric circles. On the back of the photograph, someone had written 3 words in faded black ink. It remembers us. Amelia looked toward her office door. Still closed. She checked the building security logs. No visitors. No deliveries. No record of the envelope ever entering the facility. Yet, the photograph rested in her hand. Real. Physical. Impossible. Back on chaos, Professor Veros entered the archive vault once more. This time, he carried no scanner. No records. No equipment. Only a lantern. The oldest light. For the oldest questions, he descended alone. Step by step, into the forgotten levels beneath the archives. The air became colder. The silence, heavier. Eventually, the corridor ended. Not at a wall, at a doorway. One he had somehow never noticed before. It was carved from black stone. No hinges, no lock. Only an inscription. Covered by thousands of years of dust, Veros brushed the surface gently with his sleeve. The ancient words emerged. He stared. His breathing stopped. Because he could read them. Not by translating them, by remembering them. The inscription said only this: the 7th witness opens the way, far beyond both worlds. The ancient current paused, not because its journey had ended, because something else had begun moving. For the first time in countless ages, there were now 2 currents, traveling toward each other. Chapter 12. The door that was never built. Every civilization believes that history moves forward. It doesn't. Sometimes, history waits. Professor Veros did not touch the door. He simply stood before it. The lantern's light trembled across the ancient stone. The 7th witness opens the way. He read the words again. Slowly, carefully. They were not carved. They had grown. The grooves possessed no marks left by tools. No fractures. No imperfections. It was as though the stone itself had decided to become language. He raised the lantern higher. The doorway stretched nearly 6 meters tall, perfectly circular. Not a single measurement matched the architecture of chaos. It belonged to something else, something that had understood geometry differently. Veros reached into his pocket. His hand emerged holding a small recorder. An old one. Mechanical. He preferred it. Machines connected to networks. Could forget. Metal and tape. Remembered. He pressed the switch. Archive log. His voice echoed softly through the darkness. Location. He hesitated. Unknown. I have discovered a structure beneath the central archive. It does not appear on any engineering plans. It should not exist. He looked at the inscription once more. And yet, it does. Far above, Professor Saris stared at the latest structural scans. The laboratory had expanded again. Another 18 centimeters. No explosions. No excavation. No drilling. The surrounding bedrock continued moving outward, as though invisible builders worked beyond the walls. Chief Engineer Darren shook his head. I've checked every sensor, and they all agree. The chamber isn't forcing the rock apart. He swallowed. The rock is moving away from it. General Kaler looked at the projection. Why? Nobody answered. Because the question assumed that stone required a reason. On Blue Star, Ethan returned to the library. Not for books, for the photograph archive. The librarian smiled. Back already? I'm looking for ancient symbols. She laughed. That narrows it down. He smiled awkwardly. I know. She led him toward the lower archive. Most of the excavation records were digitized years ago. But, she paused. Some researchers insisted the originals remain here. Ethan followed her downstairs. The room smelled of old paper. Dust. Time. He liked it immediately. Hours passed. Most photographs showed exactly what he expected. Pottery, stone tools, ruined walls. Nothing unusual. Then, folder 71. A photograph slipped loose, landing face up across the table. His breathing stopped. 3 concentric circles, carved into black stone. Exactly the same symbol. He turned the photograph over. Only one sentence had been written. Location classified. Site permanently sealed. His curiosity became something else. Not excitement. Determination. Elsewhere, Dr. Amelia Grant wasn't looking at archaeology. She was looking at maps. Every anomaly, every satellite adjustment, every magnetic fluctuation, every unexplained atmospheric disturbance. She plotted them across the globe. Nothing. Random. Then, she removed every event except those separated by exactly 6 minutes. The map changed. Points that had seemed unrelated now formed a curve. Not around continents. Not along tectonic plates. Across the oceans. She enlarged the projection. The curve continued. Beyond the edge of the map, as though Earth itself was only part of something much larger. She whispered, "What are you measuring?" Far beneath Horizon Spire, Veros finally stepped forward. 1 pace. Nothing happened. A second. Silence. The lantern flickered. The air grew colder. His 3rd step carried him across the threshold. The darkness beyond the doorway was wrong. Not empty. Deeper. The lantern illuminated barely a meter ahead. Stone walls emerged. Perfectly smooth. No dust. No cracks. No signs of age. Impossible. The corridor looked new, as though someone had cleaned it moments ago. Then he heard it. Footsteps. Not behind him. Ahead. Slow. Measured. 1. Pause. Another. Someone was walking away. Who's there? His voice echoed endlessly. No answer came. Only another footstep. Then another. Always the same distance away. Never closer. Never farther. As if the corridor itself refused to let him catch up. He should have turned back. Every instinct told him to leave. Instead, he continued walking. Back inside the synchronization laboratory. Every alarm activated simultaneously. Not because of the array. Because of the city. Power fluctuations. Communication delays. Navigation errors. Transit systems briefly losing synchronization. Nothing catastrophic. Nothing dangerous. Just thousands of tiny failures. All occurring at the exact same second. The planetary intelligence spoke. Its normally calm voice carried something unfamiliar. Urgency. Planet-wide synchronization variance detected. Saris looked up immediately. Cause. A pause. Longer than usual. Then, unknown. Another pause. Then a second sentence. One it had never spoken before. It has begun. Across the universe. Beyond distance. Beyond light. Beyond the reach of every civilization that had ever lived. An ancient mechanism recorded a change. Cycle 7. Witness 4. Acknowledged. The count was accelerating. And somewhere, hidden beneath 2 different worlds, 2 ancient doors opened at exactly the same moment. Chapter 13. The 7th Witness. Every civilization leaves behind more than ruins. Sometimes, it leaves behind someone who remembers. Professor Veros stopped walking. Not because he had reached the end of the corridor, because the footsteps had stopped. Silence settled around him. Heavy, patient, waiting. He raised the lantern. The corridor stretched endlessly ahead. Smooth black walls. No doors. No intersections. No sign that anyone had ever walked there. And yet, someone had. He knew it. Then, a voice. Not loud. Not distant. Simply present. You came earlier than expected. Vero spun around. No one. The corridor behind him remained empty. His heartbeat quickened. Who's there? Silence. Then, the same voice. You still ask that question. The old historian frowned. I know this voice. The realization came before the memory. Not from recognition. From longing. As though he had spent his entire life trying to remember someone he had forgotten. The lantern flickered. For a heartbeat, the corridor disappeared. In its place, an immense city. Black towers, silver rivers, Millions of lights. People. Laughing. Working. Living. Then, darkness. The vision vanished. Only the corridor remained. Back inside the council chamber, Professor Saris stared at the planetary synchronization map. The fluctuations had stabilized. Every system reported normal operation. Except one. The array. It was no longer rotating at a constant speed. Its movement matched something. She overlaid every available dataset. Planetary resonance. Gravitational variation. Atmospheric pressure. Magnetic flux. Nothing. Then she hesitated. Show heartbeat synchronization. Chief Engineer Darren looked confused. Heartbeat. Just do it. Thousands of biometric records appeared. Random citizens. Scientists. Council members. Workers. Children. Nothing. Then, one heartbeat aligned perfectly with the array. Not on chaos. Elsewhere. Unknown origin. Saris whispered. Another witness. On Blue Star. Ethan couldn't stop thinking about the symbol. 3 circles. Again. And again. Every path seemed to lead back to it. His prototype. The library. The ancient photograph. The strange message on his laptop. It all pointed towards something. He simply didn't know what. That evening, he received an email. No subject. No sender. No text. Only an attachment. A map. Nothing else. No explanation. No coordinates. Just an old survey map of the Nigerian coastline. One location had been marked. A tiny red circle. Near abandoned cliffs overlooking the Atlantic. Ethan frowned. I never told anyone where I live. He checked the sender. Nothing. He checked the metadata. Blank. The email had no origin. Across the Pacific. The old fisherman returned once more. The glowing lines beneath the sea had multiplied. They no longer drifted randomly. They formed circles. 3 of them. Perfectly nested. The old man closed his eyes. He had seen that shape before. Not in this life. Somewhere. Far older. He whispered, I remember. Then stopped. Because he didn't. Far beneath Horizon Spire, Professor Veros took another step. The unseen voice spoke again. You have forgotten well. I don't know you. No, you no longer do. The corridor brightened. Not with light. With memory. Images flowed across the walls. Cities. Stars. Worlds. Thousands of civilizations. Appearing. Flourishing. Vanishing. Each one connected by the same 3 circles. Veros watched in silence. Every civilization had found the symbol. Every civilization had disappeared. His hands trembled. Who are you? The answer came immediately. I am. The voice faltered. For the first time, it struggled. Not because it refused to answer. Because it could no longer remember its own name. Elsewhere, deep beneath Earth's oceans, the second door continued opening. Stone ground softly against stone. Not through force. Through recognition. Something was being allowed inside. Hidden beneath the desert on chaos. The first door finished opening. No explosion. No light. No sound. Only darkness. Ancient. Perfect. Patient. Across the universe. The ancient mechanism recorded another change. Cycle 7. Witness 5 acknowledged. A pause. Longer than any before it. Then, for the first time in millions of years, the mechanism corrected itself. Witness count, uncertain. Additional resonant minds detected. Recalculating. Somewhere beyond reality, something smiled. Not with joy, with recognition. The game had not begun. It had resumed. Chapter 14. The echo that answered. Some doors do not lead to places. They lead to memories. Professor Veros remained perfectly still. The voice had forgotten itself. That frightened him more than anything it had said, because names were memories, and memories could die. The corridor stretched onward. Its walls no longer reflected the lantern's light. Instead, they reflected him, not as he was, as he had been. A child, a young scholar, a professor, an old man. Thousands of reflections, each slightly different. Each watching him. He whispered, What is this place? The voice answered, The place between remembering and forgetting. Back inside the synchronization laboratory, Professor Saris refused to look away from the projection. Unknown origin. The heartbeat remained perfectly synchronized with the array. Every pulse, every interval. Perfect. She expanded the data. The planetary intelligence spoke. Source cannot be localized. Why? No reference frame exists. Saris frowned. Everything has a reference frame. A pause. Then, not anymore. Chief Engineer Darren looked up. What does that mean? The intelligence remained silent. For nearly 7 seconds. An eternity. For a machine. Finally, it answered. The signal does not originate from a location. Silence. General Kaler folded his arms. Everything comes from somewhere. Correct. So where? Another pause. It comes from an event. No one understood. Not yet. On Blue Star, Ethan stared at the anonymous map. The red circle rested near an abandoned stretch of coastline. He enlarged the image. No roads. No buildings. Nothing remarkable. Yet, someone had wanted him to see it. He checked the timestamp. Tomorrow. Low tide. 6:18 a.m. The map had highlighted the tide schedule. He leaned back. This has to be a joke. Even as he said it, he knew it wasn't. Across another continent, Dr. Amelia Grant had stopped trying to explain the impossible. She had started collecting it. Photographs, satellite logs, magnetic fluctuations, anonymous messages, ancient symbols. Each one went onto the same wall. Thread after thread connected them. Her office now resembled an investigation. Instead of a laboratory, she stepped back. Something bothered her. Not the evidence. The empty space. At the center, everything pointed toward it. Yet, nothing occupied it. As though one piece was still missing. Far beneath Horizon Spire, Veros continued walking. The footsteps had returned. Closer now. Not ahead. Beside him. Step. 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 He stopped. The footsteps stopped. He walked again. They matched him perfectly. Another traveler. Hidden just beyond sight. The corridor widened. Ahead, a circular chamber emerged from the darkness. It contained no furniture, no machinery, no decoration. Only 7 stone pedestals. 6 stood empty. 1 was occupied. A lantern. Burning. Without fuel. Without smoke. Without heat. Veros approached slowly. The ancient voice spoke again. You are late. He looked around. There is no one here. There was. What happened to them? The silence that followed felt older than stars. They remembered. Veros frowned. I don't understand. You will. The lantern's flame shifted. Not upward. Toward him. For a heartbeat. He saw another hand. Holding it. Then, the image disappeared. On Blue Star. Before dawn, the old fisherman returned to the shoreline. Again, the birds refused to cross the invisible boundary. Again, the sea remained unnaturally calm. He knelt beside the water, placed one hand upon its surface. The ocean answered, not with waves, with vibration. Tiny, gentle, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. His eyes widened. The rhythm matched his own. He withdrew his hand immediately. The water became still once more. Elsewhere, deep beneath the marked coastline, far below layers of stone untouched by history, a single line of light appeared, not because something had been activated, because something had been recognized. The ancient mechanism beyond both worlds continued its calculations. Cycle 7. Witness 5, confirmed. Witness 6, emerging. A pause. Then, a warning. One it had never issued before. Unauthorized memory resonance detected. Origin unknown. For the first time, the mechanism failed to predict what would happen next. Chapter 15. The memory beneath the sea. Some memories do not belong to the people who remember them. The old fisherman remained kneeling at the shoreline. The sea had become calm once more. No vibration, no light, no sound. Only waves, rolling gently onto the sand. His grandson looked at him curiously. Grandfather? The old man didn't answer. He was listening, not with his ears. With something he couldn't name. Finally, he stood. We're going home. But we just got here. I know. The boy frowned. You said we'd fish until sunset. The old fisherman looked toward the horizon. Today, the sea has other things to do. Hundreds of kilometers away, Ethan's alarm rang. 5:12 a.m. He had barely slept. The anonymous map still rested on his desk. The marked coastline. Low tide. 6:18. He told himself. He wasn't actually going. Then, he got dressed. Outside, the city was just beginning to wake. Street sweepers, delivery trucks, early commuters, everything. Ordinary. He boarded the first bus heading toward the coast. Halfway through the journey, his phone lost signal. Not unusual. Except, it never came back. Back on chaos. Professor Saris replayed the synchronization data for the 20th time. Unknown origin. Unknown reference frame. Unknown event. Nothing about it made sense. Chief Engineer Darren entered quietly. We found something. She turned immediately. What is it? The array. He hesitated. Is no longer responding to us. She stared at him. What do you mean? We can still monitor it. We can still measure it. But every command we send, he swallowed, is ignored. Saris hurried into the central chamber. The array continued rotating. Gracefully, silently, exactly as before. She initiated a manual diagnostic. No response. Emergency override. No response. Complete shutdown. No response. The planetary intelligence confirmed the impossible. The array has entered autonomous operation. General Kaler's expression darkened. Can we stop it? No. Destroy it. A pause. Then, no. For the first time, humanity no longer controlled the machine. They had built, or perhaps, never built, far beneath Horizon Spire. Professor Veros approached the burning lantern. Its flame leaned toward him, as though greeting an old friend. He reached out. His fingers stopped. A breath away, the ancient voice returned. If you remember, you cannot forget again. Veros closed his eyes. What am I supposed to remember? The answer came softly. The promise. Fragments burst across his mind. A sky, filled with thousands of worlds. A circle, larger than a continent. Countless figures standing together. Not human. Not chaos. Not anything he recognized. One voice echoed through them all. If we fail, they must never remember too soon. The vision shattered. Veros stumbled backward. His breathing became uneven. His heart raced. One sentence remained. Only one. 7 witnesses. Must awaken. His eyes opened. The chamber was empty again. The lantern burned peacefully. Nothing had changed. Except, everything had. On Blue Star, Ethan stepped off the bus. The coastline stretched before him. Steep cliffs. Dark rocks. The Atlantic rolled quietly beneath a pale morning sky. No tourists. No fishermen. No sound. Except the sea. He checked the time. 6:16 a.m. 2 minutes. He almost laughed at himself. I actually came. The tide continued retreating. Water slid away from the rocks. Then, something impossible happened. The ocean did not reveal sand. It revealed stone. Perfectly smooth. Perfectly black. A circular platform. Hidden beneath the sea for longer than history remembered. Ethan's smile disappeared. 3 circles. Carved into its center. Exactly the same symbol. He looked around. No one else seemed to notice. Cars continued along the coastal road. Seabirds circled overhead, carefully avoiding the platform. The entire world behaved, as though nothing unusual existed. Without thinking, Ethan stepped forward. The moment his foot touched the ancient stone, the symbol illuminated, not brightly, softly, like moonlight beneath water. Across the universe, the ancient mechanism stopped calculating. For the first time, it observed. Witness 6. Confirmed. A new line appeared beneath the others. One that had not existed for millions of years. Earthgate. Partially awakened. Deep beneath the black platform. Hidden below layers of stone older than Earth's oceans. Something heard. The footsteps above. And after waiting, longer than civilizations had existed, it opened. Its eyes,